This is Nightline and I'm Liyana Hassanel. News making the headlines. PM urges for conditions set for housing developers to be reviewed. And HR Ministry to study proposed law relating to practical student allowances. Good morning. Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim wants the Local Government Development Ministry to review conditions set for housing developers to ensure that they provide affordable housing for all mega projects. The Prime Minister said this was necessary as the 30% affordable housing threshold for housing projects was not being met by the developers.
This kind of policy is not working as the speed and the scale as we asked. I mean, that's why I think Minister Koh Meng has been asked to relook at it and impose new conditions. Why must only the government present the case when we have developers building huge condos, and it partly is their responsibility, at least for their own workers.
Datuk Sri Anwar, who is also Finance Minister, said this to reporters after handing over keys to the Madani Dalur housing for civil servants in Putrajaya on Thursday. He added housing developers must abide by this condition so that the middle-income group can afford to buy their own homes. The government has required private housing developers to build at least 30% of affordable housing in mega housing projects since 1981. Earlier in his speech, Datuk Sri Anwar pointed out that affordable housing was something that meant a lot for the middle-income group, as home ownership was a real issue for them. He also said that about 200,000 units priced at 300,000 ringgit and below are needed to meet the housing demand of civil servants throughout the country. Meanwhile, Datuk Sri Anwar said a special task force has been formed to look for solutions to the water woes in Kelantan and Sabah. He said the task force, which will include representatives from the Finance Ministry, Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change Ministry, as well as both state governments, will take on the role of preparing strategies to resolve the water supply issues in the two states. The Prime Minister said this was agreed upon in a special meeting involving Kelantan Menteri Besar Datuk Ahmad Yaakob and Sabah Chief Minister Datuk Sri Haji Noor at Perdana Putra earlier on Thursday. The meeting also discussed several immediate measures needed to be taken to address the issue of disrupted and unclean water supply.
Negeri Kelantan bawahnya mengumumkan beberapa angka. Saya tidak putuskan persetujuannya kerana saya telah minta dibincang dalam pasukan khas, pasukan petugas khas, meneliti secara tepat apa keperluan dan ada syarat-syarat umpamanya pengurusannya dan juga ketelusan beberapa pelaksanaan projek.
He also stressed that the state governments must be able to work together with the federal government and accept decisions made by both. Previously, Datuk Sri Anwar had said that the federal government will try to resolve the water supply problems in Kelantan and Sabah, although it involves huge expenditures. The opening of the Bagandata Bridge will boost investment and development in the area, which has already attracted investor interest. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said so far 3 investors had sent letters of interest to him regarding the proposals to set up a dockyard and 2 factories for producing heavy vehicles as well as electric vehicles and batteries. Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid, who is also Rural and Regional Development Minister, said the new bridge would benefit not only the 70,000 commuters from Bagandata, but also at least 250,000 users from 3 other districts, namely the Pasir Salak, Teluk Intan and Sabak Bernam parliamentary constituencies.
Saya rasakan ini adalah satu milestone, satu game changer yang pada hemat saya bukan untuk dibanggakan, tapi harus diterjemahkan dan dimaknakan dari segi penyatuan fikrah, penyatuan pemikiran dan tindakan untuk seluruh penduduk Bagandata dan kawasan-kawasan parlimen di persekitarannya.
Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid said this to the media after officiating the symbolic opening of the bridge in Bagandata on Thursday. The Bagandata MP also said that the proposed ventures were expected to create 10,000 job opportunities, adding that he would coordinate approval for the application with the relevant authorities. The Human Resources Ministry is ready to study the proposal to enact a special law related to allowances for industrial training or practical training students to prevent labour exploitation and to protect their rights. Its Minister V. Sivakumar said even as the existing law, the Employment Act 1955, is sufficient to protect the rights of workers, including students undergoing industrial training, the ministry is ready to study recommendations to review the law in order to ensure that the rights of students undergoing industrial training are protected.
Saya rasa buat masa ini adalah mencukupi dan kita akan meneliti semula saranan yang dibuat oleh pihak-pihak tertentu yang mahukan kita melihat semula kepada akta yang sedia ada, akta kerja yang sedia ada, memang kita boleh melihat tentang perkara tersebut. Ya.
He said this after the opening ceremony of the National Human Capital Conference and Exhibition 2023 Northern Region in Bayan Lepas, Pulau Pinang, which was officiated by Chief Minister Chow Kon Yeow. Sivakumar was commenting on press reports from various parties, including the Student Representative Council of University Science Islam Malaysia USIM, urging that the proposal to enact a special law related to industrial training student allowance be expedited to prevent labour exploitation. Earlier, it had been reported in the media that many well-known companies made work placements for practical students without them being paid allowances. The Economy Ministry will open opportunities for the public to directly apply for allocations to carry out development and small public infrastructure projects, such as tackling clogged drains in housing areas. Its Minister Rafizi Ramli said the application system is now in the final stage of preparation and would be operational by the third week of June.
Sebelum ini, perancangan itu sebenarnya banyak daripada Jabatan Kerajaan. Dia bukan adun ataupun wakil rakyat pun. Kami tak ada input sangat pun macam mana infrastruktur semua ni. Semuanya dibuat oleh Jabatan Kerajaan. Jabatan Kerajaan ada proses dia tengok, dia kata jalan patut di situ. Jadi kita sebagai rakyat ataupun kita sebagai wakil rakyat, kita tak ada input pun. Sekarang ni saya nak cuba secara perlahan-lahan membuka ruang supaya rakyat pun boleh bagi input.
Rafizi said this during an engagement session on the mid-term review of the 12th Malaysia Plan by the Economy Ministry with the Selangor government in Shah Alam on Thursday. He added his ministry will elaborate on the form of project applications that are allowed, as well as related requirements when the system is introduced, which will be a win-win situation for everyone, as the people no longer need to go through layers of application process, which normally takes a long time to be approved. Currently, only elected representatives, district officers and local councils could send in requests for government allocations, which are managed by the Economic Planning Unit, EPU, under the Prime Minister's Department. The Health Ministry will hold a meeting in the middle of June to discuss the COVID-19 Standard Operating Procedures, SOPs, following the announcement by the World Health Organization, WHO, that COVID-19 is no longer categorized as a global health emergency. Health Minister Dr. Zaliha Mustafa said her ministry is taking a heedful approach before making any announcement, taking into account that Malaysia is still designated under local areas of infection until the end of this month.
We have to see also the cases lah, whether because sometimes we cannot see because normally the last perayaan it will go up, during perayaan it will go up, so just have to manage with that.
Dr. Zaliha was speaking to the media after the launch of Kuala Lumpur Wellness City KLWC at the KLWC Sales Gallery Bukit Jalil. She also said that the amendment to the SOPs might include the removal of the face mask mandate on public transportation. On May 30th, Dr. Zaliha was reported to have said that the Health Ministry was in the midst of updating the SOPs and would make an announcement regarding the matter soon. Trump admits to keeping classified documents. This and more from the Foreign Front right after this short break. On to the foreign front. The U.S. House on Wednesday overwhelmingly passed legislation negotiated by President Joe Biden and Speaker Kevin McCarthy to suspend the debt ceiling and set federal spending limits, as a broad bipartisan coalition lined up to cast a critical vote to pull the nation back from the brink of economic catastrophe. The bill would defer the federal debt limit for 2 years, allowing the government to borrow unlimited sums as necessary to pay its obligations, while imposing 2 years of spending caps and a string of policy changes that Republicans demanded in exchange for allowing the country to avoid a disastrous default. The 314 to 117 vote came days before the nation was set to exhaust its borrowing limit, and days after a marathon set of talks between White House negotiators and top House Republicans yielded a breakthrough agreement. On the final vote, 149 Republicans and 165 Democrats backed the measure, while 71 Republicans and 46 Democrats opposed it.
The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Also in the U.S., federal prosecutors have obtained an audio recording of Donald Trump acknowledging that he kept a classified Pentagon document about a possible attack on Iran after leaving the White House. The recording showed the former president, who was seeking the 2024 Republican presidential nomination, understood he retained classified material after he left office in 2021. Trump's remarks indicated that he would like to share the information, but was aware of the limitations on his ability to declassify documents after leaving office. Following this, the Justice Department is currently investigating whether Trump broke the law by retaining U.S. government records, which some marked as top secret after leaving the White House.
They're not sending you. They're not sending.
Kosovo's President Vjosa Osmani on Thursday called on Serbia to stop its activities aimed at destabilizing Kosovo in order to end the violence in the north of the country. Osmani said despite the tense situation, Kosovo needs to make sure that the nation restore its rule of law and understand that the threat is coming from Serbia's denial of Kosovo's existence as a sovereign state. The leader also claimed that Serbia was actively supporting illegal structures in Kosovo to destabilize the country from within, asking Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić to stop supporting criminal gangs. Kosovo, which was formerly a province of Serbia, declared its independence in 2008. Serbia, however, refused to recognize Kosovo's statehood and still considers it part of Serbia, even though it has no formal control there. Japanese authorities on Thursday have issued an evacuation order for more than 46,000 residents in the city of Nanjo in Japan's southern prefecture of Okinawa as powerful Typhoon Malwar approaches. People living in coastal areas where a level 4 danger on a scale of 5 had been declared were urged to evacuate to safe places, while a level 3 danger had been declared for people living in the city, with authorities calling for the early evacuation of the elderly. The extremely strong Typhoon Malwar is currently off the coast of Okinawa, and the pressure at the center of the typhoon has reached 970 hectopascals. It was packing winds of up to 107 kilometers per hour, with gusts up to 45 meters per second. The typhoon is expected to change its direction to the northeast and pass south of the main part of Japan in the next 24 hours. Djokovic and Alcaraz breeze into third round. Sports when we come back.
kami minggu ini.
Sports tennis, the 2023 French Open. Novak Djokovic eased into the third round with a straight sets win over Marton Fucsovics. Third seed Djokovic squandered an early break in the opening set, but took the ensuing tiebreaker 7-2 before dominating the second set, forcing 3 breaks of serve to take it 6-love. The Serbian rounded off a convincing performance with a 6-3 win and set up a third-round match with Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, who won his previous meeting with Djokovic at last year's Monte Carlo Masters. Joining him was Carlos Alcaraz. Taking on Japan's Taro Daniel on a breezy Philippe Chatrier, world number 1 Alcaraz won the first set 6-1, only for his opponent to fight back and took the second set 6-3. It proved only a temporary blip though, as the young Spaniard dominated the final 2 sets 6-1, 6-2. In the women's event, French hopes of a Roland Garros singles champion were all but extinguished as Russian Anna Blinkova sent 5th seed Caroline Garcia tumbling out with a 4-6, 6-3, 7-5 second-round victory. Garcia got off to a strong start by taking the opener, but Blinkova mustered an impressive response to end a tussle that lasted nearly 3 hours. With Garcia gone, the French women are without a seat in the singles draw, while none of the French men were among the top-ranked. Meanwhile, Jessica Pegula moved into the third round after Italy's Camilla Giorgi retired at the end of the first set. The third seed was leading 6-2 when the Italian retired after just 37 minutes on court. Pegula will next face number 28 seed Elise Mertens. Moving on to football, the 2023 Europa League. Roma head coach Jose Mourinho praised his players despite their heartbreaking defeat on penalties against Sevilla, but criticized Anthony Taylor's refereeing in a match which saw 13 yellow cards for players plus 3 for Roma staff. The Portuguese coach also said he is considering staying at Roma, but said he and his players deserve more going forward.
I miei giocatori meritano di più. Io anch'io merito di più. E voglio lottare per il più. Voglio lottare per il più. Sto un pochino stanco di essere allenatore, di essere uomo di comunicazione, di essere la faccia che dice siamo stati rubati. Sono un pochino stanco di essere tanto, però io voglio rimanere con condizioni per dare di più.
Paulo Dybala had put Roma ahead in the 35th minute at Puskás Arena in the Hungarian capital, with Sevilla drawing level 10 minutes into the second half. No thanks to Gianluca Mancini's own goal. 2 superb saves in the shootout from Yassine Bono, from Roger Ibanez and Gianluca Mancini meant that Gonzalo Montiel, the Argentinian who scored the penalty that won his country the World Cup, was entrusted with taking the penalty that gave his club their 7th Europa title. Still to come, man charged with murder of pregnant ex-girlfriend.
Pushing shopping.
Welcome back. Kedah Police have arrested 6 men and a woman associated with a notorious group of burglars known as Gang Mizan, responsible for a recent burglary at the Kedah royal family's Istana Hinggap Taman Tunku Sarina. State Police Chief Datuk Wan Hassan Wan Ahmad said the arrests marked a significant breakthrough in dismantling a housebreaking syndicate operating in the northern region. The syndicate, consisting of 10 individuals aged between 25 and 52, have been linked to a total of 15 break-ins, comprising of 13 incidents in Kedah and 1 each in Pulau Pinang and Perak, respectively. Speaking at a press conference at the Kedah Contingent Police Headquarters in Alor Star, Datuk Wan Hassan said the initial arrest of 4 syndicate members was made after police were informed about a break-in incident at a business premises in Bedong, Sungai Petani on May 20th. Following the incident, police successfully tracked, identified and apprehended 3 local men and a local woman, aged between 25 and 30 years old. The break-in at Istana Hinggap Taman Tunku Sarina on May 26th resulted in losses estimated to be worth more than 10,000 ringgit. It also included losses of invaluable sentimental artifacts belonging to the royal family. Through continuous investigative operations, the police succeeded in apprehending 3 more male suspects, aged between 43 and 52 years old. All of them tested positive for methamphetamine. 3 more gang members, including the gang's leader, 43-year-old Hamizan Qasim, are still at large and are being pursued by the police. The cases are being investigated under Section 457 of the Penal Code and Section 12(2) of the Dangerous Drugs Act. All the arrested individuals have records for criminal and drug offences and are currently under remand from May 20th until June 3rd, according to Section 117 of the Criminal Procedure Code, to assist in the investigation. In Selangor, a man was charged in the Sungai Besar Magistrates Court on Thursday with the murder of his pregnant girlfriend last week. However, no plea was recorded from 20-year-old Muhammad Fakrul Aiman Sajali after the charge was read out before Magistrate Siti Hajar Ali, as the case comes under the jurisdiction of the High Court. The accused was charged with murdering 21-year-old Nur Anisah Abdul at Jalan Benteng Laut, Jalan Sungai Limau, Sungai Besar between 8:30 p.m. last May 22nd and 8 a.m. the following day. The offence under Section 302 of the Penal Code provides the death sentence upon conviction. The court then set August 3rd for mention. Previously, it was reported the accused and the victim, who were in a relationship for about a year, had a dispute to conceal the out-of-wedlock pregnancy before the woman was brutally murdered. The waitress, whose charred remains were found at a palm oil plantation at Jalan Sungai Limau on May 22nd, was stabbed to death in the abdomen and had the fetus removed before her body was burned. 3 people were killed and 3 others were seriously injured in a head-on collision at Jalan Sengkang Teratai, Kampung Melepang Gantian in Bukit Gambir on Thursday evening. The incident was reported to have occurred at around 4:20 p.m. when a Corolla Altis on its way to Kampung Terai from Bukit Gambir collided with a Toyota Hilux 4-wheel drive upon arriving at kilometer 13 of Jalan Sengkang. The 53-year-old driver of the car and 2 of his 3 passengers, aged 52 and 17, were pronounced dead at the scene. The seriously injured were rushed to the Tangkat Hospital for treatment, while the bodies of the victims were handed to the police for the next course of action. The case was being investigated under Section 41, subsection 1 of the Road Transport Act. The cause of the collision is still being investigated. The Customs Department has smashed a smuggling syndicate following the seizure of contraband cigarettes worth more than 1.5 million ringgit, including unpaid duties near Felda Neram 1 in Kemaman, Terengganu. Its Director General, Datuk Zazuli Johan, said the illicit cigarettes were found in a lorry which had pulled up at a patrol station on May 23rd. Prior to the discovery, a team from Pahang Customs had ambushed the lorry driver while he was refueling before arresting him. Checks on the vehicle revealed a total of 2.1 million sticks of white cigarettes in 210 boxes. It was believed that the syndicate used lorries to transport contraband goods during peak hours in an attempt to avoid detection by authorities. The 36-year-old driver has been remanded for 14 days until June 6th, and the case is being investigated under the Customs Act. Coastline, long red prayer rugs were spread out just ahead of the call to prayer. The initiative, run by the Waqf and Religious Affairs Ministry, hopes to allow beachgoers in the Gaza Strip, home to 2.3 million people of Muslim majority, a chance to pray close to the beach. Let's take a look as we wrap up Nightline this time around. With that, I'm Liyana Hassanel. Thank you for watching and stay safe, Malaysia.